Earnest money can be in the tens of thousands of dollars. So just what is earnest money and how do you make sure you don't lose it? Hi, my name is Mike Lavoie. I am a real estate agent with Dalton Wade Real Estate here in the Tampa Bay area. My wife Paula and I help both buyers and sellers throughout the entire Tampa Bay area. We've been here for more than 35 years and we love the Tampa Bay area. If this is the first time you're watching us on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button down here below in the corner. If you'd like to be notified when the next video comes out, hit that notification bell as well. When you make an offer to purchase a home, that contract is not valid until some type of consideration is made. And in this case, consideration is called money. On the offer, you're going to state how much money you're willing to pay for the house. You're going to tell it on names and addresses. There'll be a legal description on there. How much money you're going to use as your down payment and how much money you're going to finance. And one of those items is going to be how much money you're going to put up front as a deposit to purchase the house. That amount is called earnest money deposit, or EMD. The EMD makes the whole process, the whole offer valid, and it tells the seller that you're serious about buying his home. How much should the EMD really be? Really, the earnest money can be just about anything you want it to be. Around here in today's market, 2% of the purchase price is considered acceptable. You could always go less, you could offer $100, but the seller is going to probably go, are they really serious about buying a house, or maybe they just can't afford the house and they're probably not going to take the offer.
I'm going to make them an offer he can't refuse.
2% is about average, about normal. A little bit more if the house is particularly desirable or in demand. Somewhat less if the house has been sitting around for a lengthy period of time on the market. So basically, at a $1 million house, if you're making an offer on a $1 million house, you're looking at $20,000 in escrow to be deposited. How do you make those deposits, and just who gets the money? In Florida, earnest money is delivered to a neutral third party who is going to hang on to the money in a trust account until the distribution date, which is normally closing date. Almost all the time, it's a title company of some type. The title company is licensed to hold money and act as a fiduciary in this matter. Sometimes it's a law firm that will work with or does real estate transactions. It could also be a real estate broker, but that option isn't really used that much. I've seen it a few times. They're going to hold the money until distribution date. That money has to be paid to them in either one of two forms. It's a check. You could write a personal check, or you could send a wire. A personal check has to, and it cannot be a cashier's check, a money order, something like that. It has to be a personal check. Has to be delivered by hand to that third party within a set number of days. It's usually 3 days. Make sure when you do that, you get a receipt that shows that you made that deposit within that 30 days so we can prove it to the other side. The other option is to send it by wire. There is a lot of wire fraud going on out there. So before you send the money, make sure that you confirm by telephone the routing number and the account number with that third party. You can wire transfer directly from your bank to the third party, and which is usually much easier, it's quicker, less painful, and it is traceable. When is earnest money due? In Florida, it's 3 days. The money needs to be at the third party within 3 days of the final acceptance of the contract. And while we're on the topic, always get everything in the real estate. When you're dealing with real estate, get everything in writing. Knowing that that money has to be at the third party within 3 days, make sure before you make that offer that that money is sitting somewhere in cash or very liquid at a bank or a brokerage account. If you're taking this money out of a brokerage account, you have to sell the stocks to get to the cash, and that could take 5 to 7 days. If you're taking the money out of a retirement account, it could take a week to 10 days before you actually have that money. So make sure that money is sitting somewhere liquid where you can wire it or write the check on it the day you make the offer. Because if you don't make the offer, make the earnest money deposit on time, the seller could cancel the whole contract or cancel the whole offer. Can you lose your earnest money deposit? You bet you can, but you would have to really work at it to lose that money. Your money is at risk of you not performing your part of the contract. Specifically, if you back out of that contract without a legal reason to do so. Remember, when you sign that contract and you deposit that money, that offer becomes a legal binding contract between you, the buyer, and the seller. If you try to back out of that without a valid reason, you risk losing your money. Now, normally there are 3 or 4 different contingencies in there to help protect you and give you an out in case something comes up. But if you do not meet those contingencies, you could actually lose your deposit. For more information on those contingencies, watch this video. If you don't meet those contingency deadlines, you're probably going to wind up losing your money. So you have to have an experienced agent who will keep on top of this stuff and keep you out of trouble. So really, losing your escrow, losing your deposit is nothing to really stress over. Where does the earnest money wind up? There are basically 3 different scenarios. Number 1, the closing goes through just as planned. The escrow deposit is offset on the final documents where you are supposed to bring money to the table for your down payment and your closing cost. The amount of money you put in there is subtracted from that, so you come up with less. For instance, in our earlier example of $1 million home, you made a $20,000 deposit. Let's assume you're supposed to bring $150,000 to the closing table. That $20,000 will be subtracted from that, and you only come to the table with $130,000. Scenario number 2, you back out of the contract without a valid reason. In that case, you're at risk of losing your entire deposit. So be careful when you do that. And the third scenario is the sale does not go through, but you had a valid reason to cancel the contract. You would get your deposit back. Generally, that's what happens when a sale doesn't go through. Just between you and me, Paul and I have never had a client lose their earnest money deposit because of a failed contract. We have a closing coordinator that we assign to every file, and that person keeps track of these dates and make sure that we're in process of getting this thing done. And every week we meet with that person to go over everybody's file just to make sure there are no issues coming up. How do you make sure you do not lose your deposit? Simple. Comply with the terms of the offer. Make sure you use those contingencies to your benefit. If you want to look at the video, there it is again. Watch the video. Make sure you don't miss any future content from us. Click on the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the little like button thing down there. You know how to do it. Finally, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in the Tampa Bay area, we'd love to talk to you. Give us a call.